Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3 FY22 earnings conference call of IMFA. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Mamta Samat from Perfect Relations. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Stephen. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on IMFA's Q3 FY22 earnings conference call. Today we have with us the senior management represented by Mr. Prem Khandelwal, CFO and Company Secretary, Mr. Vijay Anand Mohapatra, COO, Mr. Deepak Mohanty, Head of Ferro Alloys Business Unit, and Mr. Binay Agarwal, Head of Power Business Unit. Before we begin, I would like to say that some of the statements that will be made in today's discussion may be forward-looking in nature. We will begin the call with the opening remarks from the management, after which we will have the forum open for the interactive Q&A session. I will now request Mr. Prem Khandelwal for the opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mamta. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all this earning call of IMFA, and thank you again for taking out time and joining this earning call. Financial results are already, you must have seen, but just to give me a synopsis, let me give you a synopsis of the financial results. Total income for the quarter was 658 crore, EBITDA was 215 crore, and PAT of 122 crore. Production and sales number for the quarter, production is 61,500 tons and sales of 55,403 tons. Average realization for the quarter was 1,16,000 rupees a ton, and the ferrochrome cost was 72,600 rupees a ton. Just wanted to highlight one point that numbers could have been much better, but for a POSCO consignment, which reached little late on 2nd of January, so the tonnage for that could not be booked in this quarter, which is amounting to rupees 75 crore. During the quarter, up to the date, we have prepaid a long-term debt of 214 crore, leaving us with a long-term debt of 144 crore, which on a net debt basis, we are debt-free this quarter onwards. With these remarks, now I open the session for question and answer and request the analyst to start the question and answer.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Shubham Agarwal from Equitas India. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, sir, and good afternoon to the whole team. It was an amazing quarter once again, so congratulations. Sir, my first question is related to realization. As you mentioned that the realization was 1,16,000, but over the last 2 months we have seen the realization fall significantly and it was under 1 lakh. So how do you see the realization trending this quarter, and what are the key momentum that you are seeing for the next 6 months, if you could highlight?
Shubham, whatever short dip you have seen in the earlier in the month, that was a temporary blip, I would say, because now the prices have again bounced back. And once China reopens, we believe the prices will firm up further. So, but for this quarter, for IMFA, as far as IMFA is concerned, since we are selling on the long-term basis also, so the average realization would be more or less in line with the Q3 figures. Or maybe a little lower, but not much dip is expected.
Okay, so more or less it will be in and around 110 for Q4 also.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's great. And sir, secondly, coming on to the cost part, now again, coal prices have started rising. Coking coal prices have also increased. So that must have increased our power cost as well as cost of conversion. So compared to Q3, how do we see the spread moving? Like, do we expect the cost of production to go up further from 78?
Cost of production right now is 72,000, Shubham.
Okay.
Ferrochrome cost. So, Deepak, do you expect any further increase in the cost on account of coke?
Maybe on account of coke, there will be slight rise. As you know, we normally buy for 3 months.
Okay.
And accordingly, our average price will be lower than the market, much more lower than the market. We plan it. So it will be more or less in the similar line. Minus here and there may happen in the total cost, but not much difference we are expecting.
Sir, so right now the coking coal price have again gone up beyond $450. How does this impact us going forward?
In fact, we have already booked normally whatever we have booked for the next quarter reveal. So with that will be much lower than the market, and we plan it always.
Okay.
So, of course, it will be going up from the present level, but not to the extent it has gone. And this is also sporadic and all these things, what you are telling, coking coal price 450. And so that will not impact us so much.
Okay.
It will be more or less we plan it ahead.
Shubham, we are using coke, we are not using coking coal. So there may be some correlation between the two, but the price behavior of coke is different and coking coal is different.
Right, right. So now coming to the coal part, how do you see the increase in coal price impacting us? And where do we have linkages from Coal India?
Binoy, I would request you to answer that.
Yeah, in this time we have participated in a linkage auction, and we have already procured 80% of our consumption through linkage auction.
Okay. And rest, where do we procure from? Do we procure anything from outside India?
No, we participate in the spot and exclusive auction of LCL.
Okay. And
this is also very near to us.
Okay. And
almost 70% we use washery reject. So we don't buy from outside India. So washery reject itself is taking care of 70% of consumption, and balance on e-auction and linkage auction we buy. So there is no imported coal being used.
Okay. Okay. And coming to the volume part, so obviously you mentioned that POSCO was shifted to Q4. So, and we have been building inventory since the last 2 quarters. So can we expect the volume to be significant or similar to last Q4, which was 72,000?
See, on average, we produce and sell around 60,000 tons ferrochrome.
Right.
So the next quarter, apart from 60,000, Deepak, do you have the figure next quarter? How much?
Yeah. Next quarter we are expecting around 67,000 tons. 67,000.
Okay.
So yeah.
So 7,000 tons of POSCO and 60,000 tons on average what we are selling every quarter.
Okay.
That would be the tonnage roughly.
Okay. And coming to some bookkeeping questions, so our interest cost this quarter was on the higher side at 15 crores. And given that now we are debt free, how do you see this going? And why was it so high this quarter?
See, going forward, the interest cost will go down drastically. This quarter it was higher because the repayments were made mostly at the fag end of the quarter.
Okay.
And we had to prepay some penalty also. So that's why interest cost is little bit higher compared to 13 crore. It is 15 crore. But going forward, it is going to go down drastically.
Okay. So from Q4, this happened significantly.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And
Mr. Agarwal?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but for any follow-up questions, may be requested to rejoin the queue, please. A reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. For any follow-up, may be requested to rejoin the queue, please. The next question is from the line of Srijan Sinha from Future Generali Life Insurance. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. Congratulations on a good set of numbers.
Thank you.
So, wanted to understand a couple of things. One, I wanted to understand the global demand supply dynamics. Recently, there have been some news regarding some of the countries having trouble in chrome mining, things like South Africa and Kazakhstan. So, how is the global demand and supply looking like, and how do you see this cycle playing out? Is it a longer cycle than what we have seen in the past, or how do you view this?
Deepak?
Yeah, let me tell you, the stainless steel output, global stainless steel output for this calendar year 2021 is expected to be 56.8 million tons, which is around 12% higher than the previous year. And also, you might have heard, as per US-based Research Institute MEPS, the stainless steel output for 2022 calendar year will reach another milestone crossing 58 million. So there is a growth. It's a temporary phenomena, but there is no real. However, only because of pandemic, if it again comes in different way, affect. Otherwise, I don't see there is any reduction. And particularly in this quarter in China, you have seen some reduction in stainless steel and other things. That's primarily because of their New Year as well as the Olympics. But I think it will pick up and demand won't be an issue overall. And that will also keep the ferrochrome requirement up. So that will not be. So if there is any problem in South Africa, it helps in increasing the price also. And however, stainless steel price also will remain high. As you know, nickel, which has crossed $22,000 on 12th of January and increasing, and it's still now over $23,000. So that keeps the stainless steel market up. So as we are a spoke in that wheel, so ferrochrome is going to remain at a good situation.
Okay. So, sir, has there been any supply disruption in the ferrochrome globally?
Not yet. Not globally, not yet. There is anything. Only in China, some because of pandemic coming up again in some areas, some trucking problem and all. For that, logistical costs are not going down. Quarantine period and other things are remaining. Other than that, there is no disruption in that manner.
Okay. And second question is on your short-term debt. How much is the working capital debt? You mentioned in your press release that you will be net long-term debt-free by the end of the fiscal. So how much is the working capital debt?
Working capital debt is around 350 crore. That will remain because that is basically for operational purpose. So that will remain. But on long-term basis, we'll become debt-free by end of this year.
Okay. And how much is the cost of debt on the working capital? So it should be closer to
working capital, basically we are availing in foreign currency. So it is very low, around L plus 2%, 2.5%.
Okay. Yeah. And sir, my final question is, given the elevated level of profitability that we are currently witnessing and given that we have now become nearly debt-free, what is the returns that the shareholders can expect? Can we expect some sort of a buyback or some sort of increase in the dividend payout?
We have just announced a bonus issue which you might have seen.
Yeah.
And we have paid hefty dividend also. So we have already very handsomely rewarded shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, it all depends on the board of directors. So I can't comment on that. But the company policy is always to reward shareholders handsomely if the profits are good.
Okay, so buyback as of now is not under consideration?
No. Those things are to be decided by board of directors only.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, sir. Thanks a lot for this.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Yogan Jeswani from Mithil Analytics. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
First question I'd like to understand is, in terms of the investments that we have done in last 3-4 years, we see a handsome amount of money has been deployed in fixed assets, around 350 odd crores in last 4 years. While we don't see any significant capacity coming on stream for our company, could you just take us through where we have spent these cash flows over the years, and why didn't it add any capacities all these years, and how do you plan to capitalize on this favorable environment currently that we are in? Because now our greenfield project is long time away. So if you could just share a few thoughts there, and then I'll come up with my suggestion.
We have normal capex also every year, around 70-80 crore every year we spend on normal capex. And then we buy some spares also, insurance spares also whenever there is a good year. So whatever 350 crore of addition you are saying in last 3-4 years is basically on account of that. And Kalinganagar expansion, now since the land has been allotted to us, that will also be taken up going forward. But maybe next 2 years, not much capex is required for that. But thereafter, the good amount will be spent there.
Okay, so basically this, then you mean to say is this 350 crore is mostly maintenance capex, sir?
Maintenance capex, yes.
Okay, so typically what is the maintenance capex for?
70 to 80 crore
this year, sir?
70 to 80 crore I said, normally we spend every year.
Okay. So another thing would be, sir, given the good cash flows that we have made and the kind of environment the ferro industry is in, we haven't been aggressive, or at least to my understanding, we haven't been aggressive in going beyond, the 6 units that were available. Any reason why we didn't participate in any of these auctions?
No, we did participate in these auctions, but nothing good was available. Ferro also we participated very vigorously. But since we were not interested in the company, we were interested only in the furnaces, so that was not allowed. In IBC, you need to bid for the company only. So we were not interested in the company, so we bid for the assets. So ultimately, our bid got rejected. And Rohit also, since the assets were not very lucrative, so we have not bid for Rohit. And anything new comes up, definitely we are open to that. But nothing lucrative is available at the moment in the market.
Okay. In that case, in your opinion, what is our potential for volume growth over the next 2 years? I mean, what are we doing in terms of getting the volume? 2 years, because value growth, in any case, it might normalize in some quarters. So,
yeah, the volume growth, unfortunately, is difficult to predict at the moment for next 2 to 3 years. Unless some good assets come into IBC, that kind of thing may not be there. Only if the Kalinganagar comes up in FY26, we'll see some volume increase.
Okay, so till then, whatever growth will be there. And
Mr. Jeswani?
Debottlenecking?
Hello?
Yeah, so just last question, any chances of debottlenecking?
No, we are up to our optimum capacity, so no further chance of debottlenecking.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vijay Karda from VL Finance. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Congrats for a good set of numbers. Sir, I have 2 questions. One is regarding the cost of production. So last year we had a cost of production of around 58,000. Now I think you said somewhere between that the cost has increased to 72,000. So can I just get where the cost have increased? Since I understand chrome ore mines are our own. So is there a major increase in the cost of power that we do have? And second question pertains to the capex that we are looking at. So what is the timeline which we are looking at doing this expansion? And when we will need the peak capex? And third question is around, sir, the capacity. Currently, we say we have a capacity of around 2.8, but in your conversation, you said that we are producing at optimal. So, is that fair to assume that 60,000, basically we can produce not more than 240,000 or 250,000 from this capacity?
Yes. I think 250,000 is the maximum we can produce. That is what we are targeting next year also. As far as cost is concerned, the cost has gone up basically because of coke cost. If you have monitored, it has gone up too high from last year. So coke cost has gone up, and the freight rates have also gone up almost 3 to 4 times. It has gone up. So the cost basically increases because of that. And what was the third question?
Third was on the capex, sir. When we can see this capacity coming in, and what will be the peak basically borrowing or peak money that we will need? So you said that 2 years down the line we will need money. So are we looking at 2025 for this capacity, or before that we can do this expansion?
This capacity will come up online on FY26, and we have to invest around 500 crore on the capacity, and largely the entire thing is getting funded through internal accrual. So we are not planning to raise any debt at the time for the time being for the expansion.
Thank you.
So
before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Company. Please go ahead.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, Saket.
Yes, sir. Hope, sir, you are doing good, sir. All
yes,
well.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice to hear that, sir. Sir, firstly, sir, any update on this Utkal coal block investment, sir, and where are we in terms of this money we have? क्या timeline sir कुछ set है कि क्या इसमें update है?
Saket, this coal block is likely to be auctioned on 15th of February. We were given to understand that it was earlier lined up on 7th of January, but Ministry of Coal is waiting for some clarification from some of the bidders. So they have deferred it, and now the likely date is 15th of February. So once, if it goes as per the timelines, and there is a good interest from around 7 big players about the block. So if it goes as per the timelines, then we may expect the money in next quarter, first quarter of next year.
Right. And sir, we will also be participating, or what does the rules say?
No. We are not interested in because this block is very and the size of the block is very big. We don't need so much of coal.
Right, sir. And sir, any investment we are planning in the renewable segment, sir, going forward?
No, nothing planned at the moment.
Okay. So as I बताया for the working capital requirement we have this foreign currency loan. So what is the net amount that remains unhedged, sir? We have seen I think the foreign exchange gain of around 8-9 crore for this 9 months. So if you could explain, sir, कितना unhedged exposure रहता है?
Normally we hedge around 25% of our net exports packet. So 75% remains open. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. And sir, lastly, sir, on the price trend, sir, if you could give us the understanding how the spot and the long-term prices are behaving, if a quarter-on-quarter comparison would be given, what are the kind of peak that we have seen in the ferrochrome prices, and where are these troughing currently? अभी prices क्या चल रहे हैं? And for the 9 months, what is our volume, sir, the production and sales, and what is the inventory we are carrying?
Deepak, I would request you to please answer that one, the ferrochrome price.
Ferrochrome price, actually you were talking about the first year last, probably about the benchmark as well as versus the spot. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
with regard to that, benchmark movement happens, whatever is the benchmark, normally, with a certain discount, actual transactions take place. And if you consider spot as well as long term over a longer period, if you talk about a period of 1 year or 2 years, 3 years, long term is little higher than the spot always. Okay? So spot is but more or less it is now in the similar line. While there was a huge gap between spot and long term earlier, now it is not there. As you know, because primarily Chinese people, they operate on monthly basis. They don't do it on long term basis. So that is the reason. But more or less, it is in the similar range. Okay. Regarding you were talking about the this quarter. So figures are already there. The production, you wanted production, sales.
So 9 months figure, 9 months production figure is 1,85,000 tons sake, and the 9 months sales figure is 1,78,000 tons.
Yeah, it is more or less in line with the production mostly. And annual wise also it will be in the same range, 245 to 2,000 production and same level of sales. We don't carry inventory daily.
And the 7,000 tons, as you have told, sir, it will get liquidated in the next quarter. So the cost has been factored for this quarter, and it will be the profit will be accrued for the next quarter.
It already got liquidated, Saket, on 2nd of January. Ship arrived there, and we have already invoiced it.
Right, sir. And last point is on this, sir. Consume, sir. If you could give me this breakup, sir, what constitute this 310 crore percentage wise अगर आप breakup देते और इसमें हम लोग कैसे what is the captive कितना है and how much dependence we have on the external sources?
No, you got cut in between, Saket. What are you asking?
I come again, sir. I was asking about the raw material, the cost of material consumed basket. What constitutes the basket in percentage terms? And sir, how much we have long-term contract for that sourcing also, and how much is spot, sir? So कैसे हम अपनी इस वेजरीज से अपने आप को करेक्ट करते हैं कि नहीं, sir, because of this inflationary trends and the fluctuations in the raw material price.
In raw material, as you know, we have our own chromore and we have our own power. So almost 60-70% we are shielded from the vagaries, market vagaries. Only thing is the coke, which we buy from open market, we import from outside India. So we are open to that fluctuation. Otherwise, most of the costs are under our control.
So sir, out of this 309 crore, sir, breakup दे दीजिए sir, अगर if it is available. What is the breakup of 309 crore in percentage terms?
No, breakup I don't have right now with me. Breakup we need to work out separately.
Right. I'll come in the queue, sir, and thank you, sir, for the and we hope for the continuity going forward also.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jyotindra Shah from 7 Seas Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Congratulations to all of you for targeting chrome ore production of about 1.2 million tons after new Sukinda underground mine is commissioned. It will support doubling of our ferrochrome capacity to about 500,000 tons. It is understood that we have excess captive power to take care of initial 100,000 ton expansion of Kalinganagar. Now, what is the captive power plan for likely additional capacity of 150,000 tons? Binoy, do we intend to reverse derating of our first PPP of 108 megawatt? And what will be the refurbishment cost? Number one. Number two, second question is, after Sukinda underground mining, we need to think about further deployment of enormous cash profit. According to me, we are the best contender for the adjoining Balasore mine, which is now defunct, and we should consider buying it on friendly basis. Thank you.
Bijan, would you like to answer that?
Yeah. Going ahead, this capacity addition for our captive power plant in the Kalinganagar, it is not allowed to add any coal-based power plant there. So initially we will go with the grid power, and our this 108 now it has derated to 50 megawatt because we have discontinued 2 boilers. So that one will continuously run with some. We'll go for revamping in order to adjust to the production from Kalinganagar. And we are going to go for a renovation
making this 245 boiler to AFBC boiler, and the capex will be around 60 crores maximum. So for renovation of 2 boilers. And regarding this capacity of ore, this Baleshwar, which was a defunct Baleshwar mines, it has started from last month towards the end of December, and they are going for their own consumption. So we are not going, they are not going to get that Baleshwar mine, which is adjacent to our mines. So we will go for because open cast mining is going to be started by in the first quarter of 2024. So there is another band too, which we are going to get that one, and parallelly we are going for the development of SMC underground. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Mitra from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, thanks for taking my question. My question is more on the realization. So currently, if I see the current quarter realizations of 116,000, 116,500, so how will it sort of span out over the course of next couple of quarters? If you can give, given the contracts that you have and given the visibility that you have, how will this sort of realization change? And also on the raw material front, what is the average blended coke cost for you in the current quarter, and how do you sort of see this coke cost moving up over the next couple of quarters or next, broadly in the medium term? If you can give some direction onto that. Thanks.
Okay. Deepak, would you like to answer that?
Yeah. Okay. Regarding the price for this quarter and coming 1 or 2 quarters, although it cannot be predicted, I think it will be around 110,000, 110,000 for this quarter. And next quarter also we are expecting in that range, primarily, and it may go up also, nobody knows, because you must be aware, in South Africa, ESCOM has asked for 20.5% increase in that power tariff from 1st of April. Although lot of people are protesting it, considering the 4,000 megawatt shortfall in their power situation is critical. It will be some increase, if not 20.5 also, it will be a considered change. With that, and as long as South African costs are high, ferrochrome prices will remain high. So I'm expecting in that level, more or less, or little more, depending upon the situation, how the power situation pans out in South Africa. So this was the first. Second question was regarding coke cost. Coke cost. In fact, we had planned, whatever we have planned so far, that will take us for the next 2 quarters of the next year also. So that is our planning. So it will remain much lower than the market, considering the market, even if the coking coal prices have gone up and things are going up. And we expect within those 2 quarters also the barrel rate and other freight pandemic issue may subside, which will bring down the cost also. So accordingly we are planning, and more or less will be in a range which is much better than others.
So your coke cost the next couple of quarters would be similar to this quarter. Is that the understanding?
Not similar. It will be higher than this, certainly, but not exorbitantly high. In comparison to present price, like coke cost, if you look at today, it will be something like $550. But our bookings are at much less than that. So overall, it will go up, no doubt, to some extent, but not to that level.
Okay, that's all from us.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vijay Karda from VL Finance. Please go ahead.
Yes, just coming back to one major thing. As you spoke about just now on the Africa thing, how is the situation in Africa currently? Because what I was hearing was that they are increasing the power prices also by almost 20-25%. So is that the chrome ore availability, because 70%, if I understand, 60 to 70% of chrome ore availability is from Africa. And so one is on the power cost, and second, we were hearing since last 2 years on the export duty on the chrome ore. So any view of yours on the same, sir, if you can just.
So actually on power cost, because there is a shortage and lot of for grid stability they want, power cost is going to go up. But lot of protest against 20.5% increase asked by ESCOM. But it will be certainly may not be 20.5, but we don't know. So that is the situation. So power cost has to go up in South Africa. Second thing, you are asking about the export tax. So that is actively, as we understand, people want that export duty should happen. But so far we have not, although it has been declared last year in the month of November, so far nothing has come up concretely when it will happen. But if that happens, suddenly the ferrochrome prices will skyrocket.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ayush Agarwal from Mittal Analytics. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Congratulations on a good set of numbers. Sir, I just have one question. Sir, when we look at our closest peer listed one, Methane Alloys, they are not integrated both in terms of ore and power, and we have both these integrations. Yet they are able to churn out very high margins. So I'm just trying to understand how does ore and power benefit us, and where does it benefit us really over a player which is not integrated?
First of all, Mr. Agarwal, they are not into ferrochrome. They are into ferromanganese and something else.
Yes.
So there is no comparison between the two. You are comparing apple versus oranges, so that is not the correct comparison. And as far as ferrochrome is concerned, because of the ore, whatever profitability you are seeing is because of ore. If you have to buy from the market, just to give you an idea, the market price of ore is 20,000 rupees a ton today. So if you multiply 2.5 tons of ore, which we need for 1 ton of ferrochrome, the ore cost itself is going to be more than 50,000 rupees. So where is the profitability?
Right.
That is the beauty. That is the beauty of having our own ore and own power. So that is giving us this kind of profitability.
Understood. Okay. Thank you. So that's it from my side. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jyotindra Shah from Seven Seas Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Binoy, thank you very much for clarifying that when needed, we will be revamping 2 boilers which we de-rated at the cost of about 60 crore rupees. So my question is, in 4 to 5 years' time, when we look at the production target of 5 million tons of ferrochrome, will we be totally self-sufficient as far as the power is concerned? Now, second question, Prem, for you. Now, I read about a third smelter we are planning at Kalinganagar. Now, that also will not be sufficient to produce 5 million tons of ferrochrome additional. So, do we have plan to make more smelters at Kalinganagar? Thank you.
No, Jyotindra, your question was not very clear. 5 million tons of ferrochrome from where you are getting?
No, this.
Yeah, we are not planning. We are not planning 5 million tons of ferrochrome.
No. My point is, our chrome ore output after cooking the underground mine goes on stream is reported to be 1.2 million tons. Now, 1.2 million tons of chrome ore translate into 5 million. 500,000 tons of ferrochrome. Chrome ore is the main key limiting factor. So I'm assuming that we will have some plan to utilize this additional chrome ore output. Yes.
No, your figures are not correct, Jitendra Bhai. We are not planning 1.2 million ton in 10 years' time.
Now, after Sukinda mine goes on stream, I think I read some newspaper article of interview given by our MD. I will check and I will come back to you about that.
No, we are not aware of these kind of numbers, Jitendra Bhai.
Okay, Binoy. So this captive power addition, that would be sufficient to take care of our additional power requirement, right?
Yeah. As of now, we are having capacity of 200 megawatt.
Right.
And our requirement is around 140, 142 megawatt. And
Right.
another 60 megawatt can be catered.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Company. Please go ahead.
Ji, sir, धन्यवाद, sir. Sir, firstly, sir, if you could give, sir, as you have told that we will be net debt free, there will be no long-term debt. So, in absolute numbers, what should be the savings in the interest cost on an annual basis?
The next year interest should be somewhere around 10 to 15 crore.
The total number would be 10 to 15 crore.
Yes.
Okay. Which this year is around, sir, for the 9 months is 42 crore.
Mm-hmm.
And the next quarter should be, sir, should be then 45 only in totality.
Yeah, for 9 months period it is 45 crore. So
42.
next entire year we are expecting it to be around 15 crore.
15 crore.
Yes.
Okay, sir. And sir, what is the EBITDA per ton for us, sir, currently?
I've given you the realization number. It is 1,16,000 rupees per ton in this quarter. So if you divide it by 55,000 tons, that will give you the EBITDA per number per ton.
So you have them readily, sir?
No, I don't have the readily number available.
Okay, sir. And sir, lastly, sir, if an holistic number, sir, as you have told that the stainless steel volumes are the ones that guide how the ferrochrome market will behave, and this being a scarce commodity also, these are the factors that are supporting the ferrochrome prices at these levels.
Yes.
So taking historically into account, what kind of demand destruction can happen going forward? Sir, are these prices that lucrative for both the consumer industry also, that it can sustain on it can remain sustainable over a longer period of time? This bracket of 115 to 130 1,35,000 rupees per ton, are these prices can act as an hindrance as a demand destruction, or sir, how can these prices can remain sustained, sir? इस पर सर अगर बताते हैं.
नहीं, ये तो you have asked $1 million question. Nobody can predict this kind of prices. So very difficult to predict any kind of price movement in our industry. It's a cyclical industry, and for that matter, all the metal companies are cyclical. So it will keep on going up and going down. Nobody can predict where it is going to go, whether it is going to go up, whether it is going to maintain at these levels, or it will come down. That is very difficult to predict. A lot of factors impact the demand and supply. So price will also fluctuate as per the demand and supply.
No, sir. My point was, at these, will it lead to any demand destruction going forward, or is it a scarce commodity? Then even these prices can sustain over a longer period of time, being a cyclical in nature.
That's what I'm saying. If that would have been the case, the price would not have gone down to 60,000 rupees a ton in FY20. It has come down all the way from 60,000 rupees in FY20 to 1,30,000 today. Okay. So again, it might go down to that level. You never know. It all depends on demand and supply. Today we are seeing a lot of structural problems in China, South Africa, and other countries. So the prices are maintained at these levels, but you never know what is going to happen tomorrow. So nobody can predict the price movement in our industry.
Correct. And last point is on the other expenses basket, sir. Any key elements, sir, that constitute this 129 crore expense line item, sir? And
so this is the format given prescribed by
yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
So apart from whatever items are listed here, all the items are getting booked into other expenses.
Yes, sir. I was only looking, sir, what factors can affect this line item. This is a significant line item of 129 crore. So any movement in this going forward, or what factors can affect this line item? That was my question, sir. Any key component?
In this, the variable component is also there. The fixed components are also there.
Okay.
So variable component will keep on fluctuating with the production numbers. So we have not analyzed this year.
Right, sir. And sir, thank you, sir, and all the best to the team, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jyotindra Shah from 7 Seas Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Deepak, allow me to give some input about the South African export tax on chrome ore. From my source in South Africa, I understand that export duty can be levied only by way of annual budget, which is usually in the month of February. So budget is presented on February Wednesday. So that is likely the date is the 16th of February or 23rd of February. So we'll have to see what happens in the budget. And if it is not introduced, it will have to wait for one more year. And secondly, as you are aware, there are a lot of power reforms have happened in South Africa to take care of power situation. Now every year, these captive people, they are allowed to install 99 megawatts of power, renewable powers, etc., to take care of their power requirement. So this takes care of main objection taken by our lobby in South Africa, that power is not available. What we are going to do with the chrome ore after duty? So that main question is taken care of. So because of this, we are hopeful that next month, February, duty should come. Now, no one can predict, but situation is that duty is likely to come. Let us hope for the best. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Mitra from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for taking my question. I might have missed this, clarification earlier, but just to understand the 1 lakh ton of expansion on ferrochrome side.
Yeah.
What will be the capex profile for the next couple of years? I mean, next few years. How will the sort of capex ramp up, and what would be the total capex? If you can sort of just again briefly highlight. I'm sure you would have done that. I might have missed it.
Yes.
Briefly highlight.
Total capex on the furnace is around 500 crore, Abhijit, to be spent over a period of 4 years, and by FY26 we expect this furnace to be online. So as of now, since we have become debt free, so all the capex whatever we are planning is through internal accruals only.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, right.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, as there are no further questions, on behalf of IMFA, that concludes this conference. We thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.